Why am I like this? Why me?
Science can explain.
Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Science rules.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Inertia is a property of matter. T minus 7 seconds.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Chalk, ice, glass, crystal. All these names refer to the drug known as methamphetamine. The Schedule II drug is very addictive and very dangerous to the body.
Yo, Bill, what does this drug even do to the body?
Well, to understand meth, you need to understand two important parts of it, dopamine and norepinephrine. Let's start with norepinephrine.
Isn't that like the fight or flight response?
Yes, but it doesn't do this all alone. Norepinephrine works alongside epinephrine, aka adrenaline, to create the fight or flight response. This response allows us to react to danger, 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 danger.
Alright, let's get real here. What does norepinephrine do? What part of the body does it affect?
Norepinephrine is strongly associated with bringing our nervous system into high alert. It is prevalent in the sympathetic nervous system, and it increases our heart rate and blood pressure. Our adrenal glands release it into the blood system, along with its close relative, epinephrine.
Where does this even happen?
Good question, Jesse. It attaches to the argininic receptors in the mitochondria, found in the heart, or other tissue cells. Naturally, norephrine's job is to give you energy and keep you alive by allowing you to react to danger. But when meth is introduced into the body, the drug blocks norepinephrine and the reuptake of it, and it creates a false sense of energy, which makes the body believe they have more energy when they really don't. This then causes an increase in heart rate and blood pressure and damaged blood vessels, which can lead to heart failure.
I think I'm starting to understand this. Originally, norepinephrine gives you energy, but then meth blocks it and gives your body a false sense of energy. So, the body is basically running on nothing. This must be whenever people get all jumpy and anxious.
Correct. Norepinephrine is special, and it's a hormone and a neurotransmitter. Norepinephrine is made from dopamine. It is released from the adrenal medulla into the blood as a hormone. Norepinephrine then affects parts of the brain where attention and responding actions are controlled. When it's a neurotransmitter in the central nervous system and sympathetic nervous system, norepinephrine acts as a neurotransmitter. It increases blood pressure, and this increases vascular resistant triggers as a compensatory reflex that overcomes its direct stimulatory effects on the heart, which results in a drop in heart rate.
Cool. So is there anything else I should know?
Before I explain the next part, there's two terms that you should know, inhibitory and excitatory. Think you can guess what those mean, Jesse?
Yeah, excitatory sounds excited, so it must invoke more action potentials. Inhibitory sounds more like inhibiting something, so it must be stopping something. So that means it prevents more action potentials.
Correct. Norepinephrine is excitatory as it's responsible for the stimulatory process of the body. In high levels, it can cause anxiety at elevated excretion levels, as well as some mood dampening effects. Low levels of norepinephrine are associated with low energy, decreased focus, and sleeping cycle problems.
Awesome. So this other thing, dopamine, sounded pretty dope. Is this the part where people feel good?
I'm gonna make me lose my mind.
Dopamine is one of the most fascinating things in your body, as it's both a neurotransmitter and a hormone. Not a lot is known about dopamine yet, but what we do know we can use to understand methamphetamine. Dopamine binds the dopaminergic receptor, also called DA, in what is believed to be in the striatum and region leading to the striatum. The DA causes renal mesenteric coronary and cerebral arteries to dilate, and the flow of blood to increase. This gives dopamine its characteristic of well-being, or increased motivation.
So dopamine's pretty positive. What does it even do? How does meth come into the picture?
Naturally, it controls a variety of functions, including locomotor activity, cognition, emotion, positive reinforcement, and food intake. Methamphetamine causes the release of striatal-dopamine from the nerve ending into the synapse. This likely involves the translocation of dopamine from the synaptic vessel to the neuronal cytoplasm via the vascular monoamine transporter and the reverse transport of dopamine from the cytoplasm into the synapse via the dopamine transporter.
What the heck is a vascular monoamine transporter?
The vascular monoamine transporter are membrane-embedded protein that transport monoamine neurotransmitter molecules into the storage vessels to allow substance release into the synapse. The synapse is a space between neurons.
Cool. What part of the nervous system does dopamine affect?
It is found in the central nervous system and is made and processed in the brain, but dopamine can be found in other places in the body, such as the GI tract. There it is action reduced gastrointestinal motility, the pancreas where its actions inhibit insulin synthesis, and in the kidneys where its actions increase sodium excretion and urinary output.
Is it inhibitory or excitatory?
The cool thing about dopamine is that it's both. When it's inhibited, it causes depression, forgetfulness, and when it's excitatory, it causes motivation. Now that you understand all the pieces needed to understand math, let's talk about the chemical structure of methamphetamine.
Oh, I got this one. I took chemistry. Meth has a chemical formula of carbon 10, hydrogen 15, and 1 nitrogen. It has no formular charge, and it is practically insoluble in water.
Very good, Jessie. Now meth fits into a certain class of hormones. Do you know what it is?
Drugs?
No, it's amino acid derivatives, but did you know that meth can be used in the medical setting? Meth is usually under the medical brand of Desicent for narcolepsy, attention deficit / hyperactive, which is known as ADHD, or obesity.
Alright, I got it. Just somewhat math for me.
In all forms, meth stimulates the central nervous system, which effects last from anywhere from 4 hours to a few days. Methamphetamine use can not only change behavior, but after long time abuse, the drug literally changes the brain. It kills by causing heart failure, brain damage, and stroke. This includes physiological symptoms that may lead to suicide or murder. Some users often get the sensations that bugs are underneath their skin, crawling around, which makes them pitch and scratch at their skin.
Oh, so that's why meth users' skin is always so scratchy and itchy. I guess meth really isn't good for your body. But, I have one more question.
What is it?
So, I know that there's ways such as injecting and smoking and even taking a pill to get meth in the body, but what does it even do when it gets there?
Sure thing, Jessie. Once meth has entered the body, dopamine is removed from the synaptic cleft using dopamine transporter. Meth is taken into the cells because meth mimics the shape of dopamine, and the dopamine transporter do not recognize the dopamine from that.
Wait, it just pretends to be dopamine? So it basically tricks the body?
Yet, when meth is transferred to the inside of the cell, it enters the vesicle that carries dopamine and forces the dopamine out. Next, the dopamine gets pumped into the synaptic cleft and dopamine becomes abundant inside the cell. Once the dopamine is outside of the cell, it binds to the dopamine receptors again and again because it's abundant in the synaptic cleft. Meth works directly on the brain's reward pathway and causing pleasure.
Reward pathway. This must be why people get addicted to meth. It makes so much sense now. But despite all the stuff surrounding meth, it doesn't seem a lot of good stuff going on with it. I think I'm just gonna no longer hang around that stuff.
Good idea, Jessie.
Yeah.
Together's where we belong. We're all in this together.
Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
I'm watching you, Wazowski. Always watching. Going down, I'm yelling timber.
I will be stronger. They'll call me freedom, just like a waving flag. And then it goes back, and then it goes back, and then it goes back, and then it goes. When I get older, I will be stronger. They'll call me freedom, just like a waving flag. And then it goes back, and then it goes back.
Bye, Felicia.
Oh my God.
Let me take a selfie.